Hello, my friends. Hope you're well. Thanks for being here. So, a lot of us are trapped in this world of feeling like we're just overwhelmed by work. We're tired. We've got so much to do, and it just feels endless. And so, today we're going to talk a little bit about kind of moving from this brain space to this mind and heart space and how we can find inspiration and energy. And we can also really separate out the work that we're doing that's just not constructive based on knowing ourselves and based on knowing who we are at a deeper level. So we're going to talk about some ways that we can reapproach this day-to-day life. So tell me if this reminds you of you, because it reminds me of me at certain times. I feel like I have to make all this money because I need financial security. I have bills to pay. I've got all these financial obligations that are potentially here in the future. I've got to take care of people. I've got to prove to myself and prove to others that I can be successful. I got to do the work to do that, and I got to get there to put myself in a comfortable place from a life standpoint to have success and happiness. So all of these things are very brain focused, right? We create this construct for ourselves that's based on our brain's mechanism of safety, right? So all of those things I just mentioned are either safety from the brain or the ego wanting to have validation for itself. That's like the ego is especially in the situation like, I got to have this certain job or prove myself to myself or people, right? So we're operating from this space of an external construct of success, brain and safety, or our ego that is just saying, oh, I've got to prove all these things. And in that, we're creating all this work for ourselves to satisfy this external framework to make us feel like we're achieving these goals based on the brain and ego, right? So this is where this becomes dangerous and we start to overwhelm ourselves with work. And a lot of this is just because we're not being in the present moment, right? A lot of this construct from the brain and the ego, this framework is resulting out of things we feel like we lack or something that's happened to us in history, some place we feel like we need to be. So all of it is pulling us and extracting us from the present moment. So this is where we start to create this place where we're doing all this unaligned work and just life feels heavy and tiresome, and we're just so far removed from feeling like we're in a place of energy and excitement. So let's talk about how to move from that space to a space that's different, a space that's aligned with our true self, like who we really are and what we want to be. And I think about this in three ways. I think about it first from the perspective of the mind, and second from the perspective of the gut and the intuition, and third from the heart. And I'll talk about how all of these can put us in a place where we're doing the right work that's energizing and doesn't feel overwhelming. So the first is the mind, and the separation I like to make is from the mind and the brain, right? So think about your mind as what's attached to your higher self, and your brain is what's attached to you in this human form, right? So the mind is informed and is always operating in the present. The mind knows exactly who you are at the core, your unique skills, your unique identity, and what truly would make you happy and inspired. And the brain is just that thing that's trying to solve problems and create safety at all times. So the brain is just a big barrier a lot of times. So when we think about meditation and why meditation is so important, at the base level, meditation is giving us this ability to separate the mind from the brain, right? And so we can start to think about look at it from a third-party observer perspective, and the mind can look at the brain and say, hey, brain, where are you constructing this framework of things we need to do work on that's based upon some place of trying to acquire safety? Or brain, where are you making us do work for ego-based things that don't make sense to us, right? This is huge, right? Because it's like, all right, mind is starting to see where brain is doing dumb stuff. Candidly, just dumb stuff, right? And wasting our time and making us feel tired. So we connect through meditation to this mind, and we start to watch the brain more in detail. And we start to really think about what our mind is telling us is energetic and exciting, because that's the place where we want to operate from, versus what we're doing from brain ego standpoint. So we have to connect and be in the space in between our thoughts to start to know who we are from a mind standpoint. Now, the intuition in the gut, the second piece of this, is huge too, because the intuition in the gut tells us the direction that we need to move to be aligned with our mind and not our brain. So meditation is great here too, because we connect to our gut and intuition, and we have these feelings about directions we need to move on things that are aligned with the mind that knows us at our beautiful soul state, our core state, right? So we have to start listening to our gut and intuition, and letting our gut and intuition have 2 votes for every 1 vote of our brain, right? The gut is going to tell us the directions where we need to go. And sometimes that will involve taking risk, but we need to let the gut take us to the place where the mind is telling us to go. So following our gut and intuition and connecting to that. And the last piece of it is our heart. And I think, like, from the heart space, the best part about the heart space and how I identify with this being a great contribution to this whole thought process is the heart space comes from love, right? It's connected to love. And when you feel something in your heart, you're really connected to it. And so I think about it as mind gives me the direction, the true aligned direction where to go. Gut and intuition is giving me the pointers and the steps to take in order to get to that place where my mind wants me to be. And the heart is giving me a feeling of love and excitement that is further reinforcing the fact that I made the right decision based on my mind and gut, right? So this feeling I have of, man, everything feels great because I'm moving in these right steps. So these are the 3 things I think about in terms of how we start to build a framework that we operate from the mind, gut, and heart to make decisions and get out of this brain and ego space. And the best part about this 3-way connection of moving in true alignment with ourselves, the best part about it is it comes from a bigger place, right? Source, God, the universe, your higher self, the divine, everything is supporting you. It's essentially, the universe is holding you in its hand, and it's saying, follow that energy, follow your mind, follow your intuition, follow your heart, and we'll give you everything you need, right? And this is the challenge that we have, is when we make decisions based on the brain and ego space, we're always fighting for what we need in a situation that feels like a crazy amount of work, right? But when we operate from this other space, this intuitive space, the universe knows that we're aligning with it, and we're aligning with the core of who we are, our authentic self. And it will provide us everything we need. So we're starting from the right place. And the energy that we get from starting from the right place, and the energy that we put out into the world, commands a vibration, and things start to align with us. And abundance comes to us. So all these things that we were trying to create through this brain ego framework come to us naturally, because we're aligning with our authentic self in a vibration that aligns with the external world around us, and we attract in everything that we actually want. So we bring it to us instead of working for it. And the crazy, massive, huge distinction there is it doesn't feel like work when we're in that space, because we're not creating work we don't need to do from brain ego. We're just aligning to this intuitive sense of work that we want to do that feels easy, and the vibration that we emit attracts everything we need. So I really hope that this makes sense, and we can all make a shift. I mean, everybody, we're all working on it, but we can all make this shift from the brain ego to a space of mind, gut, and heart. And that's a beautiful shift. To make that change and watch everything align to you like you want it to do. So much love. I'm grateful for your presence here, and I hope you take this and do great things.